Yeah, it is an important event, and it's one that here in Kurdistan there's been talk about having something like this because it recognizes the reality of diversity that's present here in the Kurdistan region that's been here for thousands of years. So first, it recognizes the reality that's here, but also the mentality that's here that that sees these differences not as problems to be solved, but as adding flavor and culture to the diverse experience that is the Kurdistan region. And so, an event like this provides a time for a gathering of those communities from Kurdistan, but also from all around the world and around the region to come here and see something special that's happening in Kurdistan, to understand more, to go beyond the headlines of war and conflict and persecution, to see a reality of diverse communities that are living side by side here in the Kurdistan region. And so an event like this spotlights that very, very well. I hope that the message is here is that not just from the government, it's a government commitment that though many of them are devoutly religious Muslim, that they recognize they're the leaders that represent a community from all different faiths, and they want to be a place where Christians and Yazidis and Kakai and Sabi and Mandian are able to exist and to thrive. So from the government, it's a commitment to religious freedom for everyone, and also to celebrate the culture that makes that possible. That from the cultural side, from the grassroots, there's a protection for these different communities, and so it's a reality, but it's also a bit aspirational. There are realities of challenges and hardships and tensions that exist, and we deal with those not by ignoring them, but by facing them and acknowledging them and building a better future, a better reality.
Much.
Yeah, I think that's an important reality, that we're not saying that all faiths are the same or that everyone believes the same or even that religion's not different, but it's respecting the reality of difference, that what a Muslim believes and a Christian believe, there's differences, and yet we can live together, we can love each other as neighbors, as friends, as colleagues. We can live together in peace, recognizing difference, and often it's, for me as a Christian, it's actually because of my faith that it calls me to love my neighbor. Because I love my God, it calls me to love my neighbor, and we see that, and it provides an opportunity here to be doing that alongside of each other. It's not honoring to pretend that the differences don't exist, to say, oh, actually, what you believe, it's the same as mine. No, but it's to respect the dignity that is in each one of us, and so we see that celebrated by seeing different traditions, but alongside of each other with respect. It's such a strong message, I think, and actually, so often we see that the resilience that many of us lean on in hard times and difficult times actually comes from our faith. And so I think we're seeing that celebrated here, that a message of peace, where people who have suffered because of their faith, it's actually that very same faith that allows them to endure suffering, but also to work toward peace. And so to see that modeled here in a place that we have to be honest that persecution and violence has touched every community here. The Kurdish communities very strongly, but other minority communities, Arab communities have suffered violence and discrimination, and it's often actually our religious beliefs that provide an anchor and our source of resilience to work for peace. And so encouraging to see that modeled by religious leaders and by the political leaders and cultural leaders even this morning. Yeah, I think that it's a huge opportunity for Kurdistan. This ought to be a place. I think often we've seen Kurdistan as a safe haven where people fleeing persecution have come here. I think it has an opportunity to be even more than that. A place where not just that people come, but where they flourish and thrive and actually live out their faith, whether that's in the community they were born with, whether they have by conviction changed their beliefs, but that they're in a culture that every person, no matter their background, is free to exercise their faith, but also to contribute to a flourishing society, to address the economic issues, the security issues, the cultural issues. No matter their background, they're contributing to a flourishing Kurdistan. I think that will be a powerful message for the region and for the world, and so excited for today to be a step on that path forward.
Much.
Yeah. This is such an important point in the event this morning. In the panels that we organized this afternoon, we went to some of these issues, hearing directly from communities that have faced genocide, and how actually the heritage, the religious sites, are often the first to be destroyed as it tries to destroy the memory of a community, and the resilience that comes in documenting, in celebrating that heritage. And it comes with institutions that protect the rights and religious freedom of everyone, because it's grounded in human dignity, that every person, whether a child, a woman, a religious minority, from the majority, every person has dignity because they're made in the image of God. And this is the message that needs to be clear, that the life of every human person is valuable and needs to be protected. And so it needs to be modeled, needs to be spoken by leaders, and then lived out in day-to-day life, in our homes, in our places of worship, in our communities. Amen. I think that's right. I think, in the Christian tradition, Jesus, when he was asked what are the greatest commands, was to love God and to love your neighbor. And I think it's from that a far more powerful force is something not that's worth killing for, but that's worth dying for. And that comes from love, is a motivation that gives us endurance.